We are now recording. Let me just bring this up. Okay, cool. So the next thing I would consider it a mistake to a degree against a better Akali. You can do this in D4 if you want, but I don't like it personally. And I mean it's pretty obvious, but what you're doing here is you're gonna hit all 6 minions with the Q along with Akali.
Yeah.
This is going to push the wave unless Akali decides to push the wave
Walk up and
herself,
queue
right?
back. Yeah.
And I mean she's gonna walk up and Q back, but she's only going to hit you, right? You're not positioned directly inside your minions, and that's fine. You're not gonna spend the entire wave just standing in your range creeps, but because you throw the Q all the way back here, not only is this melee creep walking forward a little bit, all of these range creeps are full HP and all of his aren't, so you're guaranteed to push if nothing else happens, right?
Yeah.
Now, whether that's an advantageous or disadvantageous position depends on a couple things. It depends on how aware the Akali is of what she can do in this lane against you. It depends on whether you're getting ganked or not. It depends on whether you think you can cheat a recall, right? And that was the next big thing that I was going to talk about. So you definitely don't need to miss that minion. You can definitely just walk up. In absolute worst case, she walks up, you Q auto the minion, E her, and you get a trade off, right? Because she's still level 1, she can't E or W away. Yeah, that Q's fine. You take the range creep here, but I can tell you weren't attempting to. You W to win trade. Yeah. So you're trying to win a trade, and your passive forces you to win that trade. The wave is already shoving at this point. If you don't throw this Q, then you don't feel like you have to walk up and shove this wave, right? Because I think you were trying to pressure, like continue pressure, like get your passive up so that if she walks up to contest you, you can do damage to her.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which again makes sense in the short term, but you have to keep in mind Akali's got Dorn Shield, Fleet Footwork. This champion is not going to die in lane. Like she only dies to a mistake so big that you probably don't need to hedge damage against her, right?
Yeah.
Actually, on that topic, I probably wouldn't take Scorch in matchups like this. If you're expecting to not play super aggressive in the first 10 minutes, then Gathering Storm will help scale. Or you can take Water Walking and just fucking leave lane. I'm a bigger Water Walking.
All those.
Yeah, and I mean, if you don't like them, if you like Scorch for a particular player reason, the small runes that are not the Legend runes or the Triumph runes are going to make like a negligible difference in your play. There's like 3 rows of runes where it matters, and pretty much everything else you can kind of just pick what you want. Actually, that's not true. There's more than that, because Demolish can win lanes, and Bone Plating Second Wind matters a lot, but the Inspiration ones matter. The point is none of the Sorcery Tree runes matter, basically, like, because they all kind of suck. Trance is fine, like, all of the top row ones are fine. Scorching Storm are fine. Water Walking is fine. But yeah, you don't have to walk up and auto these minions here. And I get it's because you're trying to pressure this trade here. You missed the auto attack, but we're not going to worry about micro stuff, right? But these minions don't have to be dead. You could be down like 50 HP, but these minions are still alive. If these minions are still alive, you get to push this. Right, the wave starts moving now, which means it's all the way back here instead of up here, right? And this doesn't look like it makes too big a difference, but it is the difference between
whether it crashes or not.
Yeah, it's the difference between you autoing the range or melee creeps. So, one more big thing that I would do here is the moment you kill all of these minions, the moment you kill all these minions, I don't actually remember if you do this. I would immediately ward. I think you do go ward, but you ward the Raptors. Yeah. It's tough to say because normally
extra, like 2 seconds to ward like between.
I guess. Yeah, pretty much. Like warding Raptors is rarely. What the fuck did I just do? Okay, warding Raptors is rarely bad, but if you just put a ward here instead.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, literally just in the middle here. If you know your opponent has a pink, I don't know. A lot of players know about this ward spot, and a lot of players don't. So it's literally just if you know or not. But warding right at this lip right here. I'm going to draw, like, exactly right here.
Ward.
What?
Yeah, it gets the whole vision. Just
yeah,
with
it also
ward, it gets the whole thing.
Yeah, it also dodges the entire pink right here, which is relevant when your opponent is taking the lazy pinks. Obviously, Akali is starting Dorn Shield. She can't pink that. Lee is bad. He started core pot, or not core pot. What's the fucking refill? He can't pink that, right? But this spot, especially from like, I would say from like 5 or 6 minutes to like 15, is very relevant. At least look for it. I don't like the ward on Raptors right here. The ward that's very easy to place. I think it's a little lazy because it doesn't spot movement here, right? In this zone. It doesn't spot anything.
That's kind of why I die.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're aware, right? It's not like I have to explain this, but it doesn't spot either of these movements here. It spots Raptor timings very clearly, which means I think it's more valuable only if you have a jungler that wants to invade, right? If you have a Rek'Sai, a Graves, if you have a Lee Sin, I think that's worth a lot more because you can see when the enemy farm jungler wants to Raptors. If your opponents are playing anything that cheeses, right? Lee Sin is a good example, but like Xin Zhao, Jarvan level 3 ganks all the time, Shaco players suck dick, right? Like, all of those champions can show up mid at really weird fucking times, and it's much harder to play around it than it is to just always put the safe ward that benefits you more than it benefits your jungler, right? Seeing exactly when they take Raptors can help a lot, but only if your jungler's good and working with you and playing an aggressive jungle. So at this point, like your wave's stuck in a place where you can't hit the range creeps, which is bad, and I'll talk about that in a sec. And you won't be able to see if Lee Sin takes the specific path that he takes. Don't think it's a super unlikely path, but I also don't think it's exceptionally likely. Why the fuck does that keep happening? I'm trying to... Oh, arrow keys move the camera. Right, okay. Okay. So Akali is going to slow. She's going to walk up and, slow hit the minions here. So obviously, like, we just talked about this ward, but you should be pushing this wave really, really hard. You should be walking up and just slamming into the minions. You force Akali to, like, trade with you, which with this number of minions, you win, right? You don't know that she has W instead of E, but I mean, if she has E, she doesn't have the damage to trade with you, and if she has W, she doesn't have the damage to trade with you because she's missing her E. If she has E, she doesn't have the energy to trade with you because she's missing her W, right? Akali spikes as hard a 3 as you do, but she's 5 minions behind you on the push to 3. So if you get to fight for the push to 3, you have a bunch of minions, and your minions are far enough back, right? Your minions are here instead of here. You can do a cheater recall. Despite technically your matchup being bad, right? Just because you did do good pressure at the start of the game, and Akali didn't contest you. So you can punish that overly passive play. But we're going to play slow here, which means that you're stuck on this side of the lane, right? You're stuck in, like, arguably the worst place for mid laners, which is, like, technically you can walk everywhere, right? You can walk this way, you can walk this way, you can walk this way, but the jungler can also come from every single angle, and all of them get to you before you pick a path, right? If Lee ward hops out of a bush or out of vision from any direction, he's going to ward hop from here to here, he's going to ward hop from here to here, here to here, right? All of these zones are, like, he can do that, E flash, and you're fucked. There's nothing you can do to escape, right? Even if you flash, he's just going to Q you and kill you. Akali will be in range. If she has E, you're dead, right? Like, so from this point on, you can die, right? And this could have been avoided to some degree with better wave management and better warding, or a combination of both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you pause it real quick?
Yep.
I think, like, level 3, what I was planning to do, because it's like you said, I couldn't kill Colin in lane. Taking the score just kind of stupid there.
It's okay.
It's no, I got a default room kind of thing,
Sometimes you just take what's comfortable or take what's easy. It's fine.
Yeah, but like, I think the idea was like level 3 crash it. I'd be level 3, and then I can roam to the scuttle or go bot lane or like invade Lee or like just do something out of it because I won't kill Akali. And then when she pulled it to the side and tanked the minion damage, I mean, maybe the minions would have crashed, but her doing that definitely made it to where they don't.
Yeah,
and that kind of fucked me.
So the minions definitely do crash on the second wave, but if they do, then Akali can deny you the third wave completely because the third wave is going to hit right here, and then it's going to full stack and walk forward, and when it full stacks, all 3 of the mage creeps, all 3 of the melee creeps, and the cannon creep, right, they're all going to be stacked up exactly like this, and if you walk up and do any of your lock-on trade with Akali, every single minion is going to aggro on you, and you're going to lose the trade. So taking a push like that early only works if you're willing to give up whatever wave is after you're crashing in. And if you give up the cannon wave at the start of mid lane, you typically lose a game, right? You're aware of that. I'm aware of that. Like, if you miss the entire 7 minions that crash in on cannon wave, you're down so much. You're down a level basically the entire game, right? So, playing to crash the second wave is almost, and I do say almost because there are exceptions, never the correct play. And if it is, it's typically because you're playing an incredible roam champion and your jungler's moving with you, right? You're playing, I don't know, like Talon or Aurelion Soul or some weird shit, right? You can crash on the third wave or the fourth wave, and both of those are cheater recall timings. That's what they're considered, at least.
Yeah.
Crashing on the second wave is too early to buy you an item. Crashing on the fifth wave can you lose you the cannon, but it's okay. The big thing is that even if you've missed CS, by the fourth wave, you can always buy something.
Mhm.
You might have seen that, but I checked and noticed something. Is there a particular reason you don't take an attack speed shard on Diana?
I think it feels like shit.
Really? Okay. Wait, why
Yeah.
can't I open your fucking room panel? Anyway, yeah, I saw double AP and I was surprised because, like, I take attack speed shard on every single champion in the game. There is not a champion I don't take it.
I mean, I take it on other champions, but not Diana. Diana,
Really?
like,
Okay.
yeah, it just feels better with like the AP.
You want to hit harder, basically, like
Yeah.
because like she already takes extended trades well. You're already taking Conqueror.
Yeah.
I think the big thing with the attack speed shard and the reason that I like reacted so strongly to it is because I think it helps last hitting a lot, which ends up meaning that it helps with wave management. Now, you may still end up valuing double AP. And I don't even necessarily want you to try it again, right? If you've played hundreds of games of Diana and you've like settled on like this is what I like to play with, you should play with that, right? Like I've done that with Gragas, right? I take some rune decisions that people just don't agree with, but I'm like I know I play better with this. So if you're comfortable with it, that's good. I would generally say attack speed, but you have your reason and it's a reasonable reason, which is like player comfort.
Yeah.
You're not at the level where a minor thing is going to beat player comfort. Oh, nope. No. I want to focus on Diana the entire game. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to watch this for a bit, and then we can move forward to the next thing. Oh, we can see the enemy pings. That's a little annoying. Thing to keep in mind. If your laner is pathing at you in a very weird way...
Yeah, I mean, I already knew I was going to get shit on right there.
Oh, excuse me. So, yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, Akali's running at you, but Akali's not running at you normally, right? She's not pathing directly to you. She was here, right? She pathed like that, right?
Yeah.
Because she tried to go this way, she wants to push you over here. She doesn't want you to run directly down, right? She wants you to move here, which tells you that Lee Sin's in that bush, which tells you that even if you lose HP, you should take this path, right? She's telegraphing the gank, and not all players will do that, but a lot of players will. It's just a thing that people do, right? There's a very good chance that if Akali moves like this, right, she goes around like this, and she tries to get you to move over here, Lee Sin's just 3-camped, maybe he took your team's Raptors or something, and he's,
In the bush.
Yeah, he's over here in the other bush, right, like, this one, right, so, yeah, watching for telegraphs from players to get information you shouldn't have is very viable in lower elos where people are going to do that, right? In a higher elo, Akali doesn't even walk at you, and she just stands there and like tries to ego on you and tries to bait you in. And then the moment you're out of her engage range, she's going to walk with you because Lee's going to slow you, right? But if you can get information from a weaker opponent, you should do that. Yeah, throwing the Q is okay. I understand why you threw the Q. You immediately W, which is good. Yeah, but this E back in, obviously you know it's bad. You're like, oh, well, I can proc Phase Rush and I have my shield, so I win the trade, right?
Well, that too is like also a phase where I can just walk it out, right? Like.
Yeah. So did you flash here to try to get Lee Sin into the turret?
Yep.
Okay. I don't hate that. But keep in mind that like the enemy jungler will always also flash, right? They're always happy to trade. And if neither champion's flashes up, the character with more mobility has the easier time fighting, right? So if your flash is down and Lee Sin's flash is down, Lee Sin is going to have an easier time ganking you than you are escaping Lee Sin. The other way around is also true. If your opponent is playing Trundle jungle and you're playing LeBlanc mid, and you flash trade, Trundle can't gank you for like 5 minutes, right? He can't do shit to you. You just W over his pillar and he leaves, right?
Yeah.
And it's hard to consider that in the heat of the moment, which is why it's one of the things that you should at least try to get used to doing when your opponent, like when you queue up, right? You see a Lee Sin locked in, you load in, you see it's jungle, and you're like, okay, I don't want to flash trade with this guy because I know it's beneficial for him.
I got you.
Yeah. There's also that you're flash trading with the jungler instead of the mid laner, which means that your opponent has flash priority, right? That's a little more self-explanatory. Can we please just focus on Diana game? Okay. So first back, we're gonna buy ward, 1 health potion, amp tome. This is all completely reasonable. This is exactly what I would buy on first back. Just gonna run straight to mid. You saw Lee Sin flash to bot side and path down here with low HP, right?
Yeah.
But Lee Sin ganked you on 4 camp at 3 minutes. Your Yi was topside the entire time, and you know your Raptors are up. A thing that he could do here that is very reasonable is path to Raptors, take Raptors, hover at about even HP because he's Lee Sin and he heals a bunch, right? Go to Scuttle, smite QQE out of the Scuttle, it's gone, and he's like right here, right? And that would suck, and if you even hedge against that, you're going to lose these 4 minions. But these 4 minions are less valuable than you losing the game, right? And I don't think it's even remotely unreasonable to say that he does that. I might do that as a Lee Sin. Because I know that I'm going to go even in health on these Raptors, I'm going to walk to Scuttle, and I'm going to heal 300 health, right? You have no flash. You haven't warded bot side yet, and Lee knows you haven't warded bot side yet. Because he's had vision of you the entire game, right?
Yeah.
So he can just force it and kill you. But if you walk over here and pink ward this bush, you completely stop that. He won't be here. He won't walk to this bush. This isn't like where Lee Sin players gank from. He would try to take the longer route. Your pink is safer here, and you're safer putting the pink down there, right? When you walk here and your pink ward exits your inventory, every single person on the enemy team knows exactly where it is, and they can just play around it. But if you walk here out of vision, put the pink ward down, they don't even know you bought one, right? And since your jungler's entire red side is up and he's a farm jungler, that's also valuable information for your jungle. Forcing in here to push the wave is completely fine. Obviously, we just talked about the possibility of jungle pressure, but if that's not happening, we don't care, right? Scuttle's still up. Okay, what did Lee Sin do after ganking you?
No ball in.
Did he do anything else?
Oh, any other camps?
Yeah.
Probably. His HP.
How do you know that he did camps?
Well, I mean, you can look at the CS, but
there you go. Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie to you and say that I looked at it in game. I didn't know it.
Yeah, so that's something you should always get used to, right? Every single time the jungler shows, hit tab once, check his CS number. Multiples of 4, you know it, right? It's hard to keep conscious track of like all these things because we're gonna start adding like a lot of stuff. Because you're good enough to do all the basics, right? I've seen you play wave management. I've seen you trade efficiently. I've seen you, play around your runes, think about your matchups, and go to side lanes, right? You've done all the basic shit. So now we're going to work on the things that make you, like, play a little better. I'm going to talk about one more big thing, but I'm not going to do it until after we've stopped analyzing the early game. You're forced to play all the way back here because you're scared of the Akali extended trade. I think this is completely reasonable. I don't think you should walk up here. Obviously, you can queue the minions, and her engage range is too low. This is where we started talking about Yi having priority. Yi knows that Scuttle's up, so he's going to go take it. Yi's blue side is up, but your wave is crashing in. So right now, because this wave is big and you have lost lane, your priority is getting this wave, right? You're not thinking... Like, unfortunately, right now, you can't do anything for Yi. I think he's overstaying. I would probably back with the amount of gold he has. So we just saw Akali walk up topside. She's still just going to hover with you. So you're going to save the plate, take very minimal damage because she left instead of pressuring you. That's really good. I assume you would know not to like try to last hit those minions if Akali walked with the wave completely, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
Just let it crash.
Yeah, I trust you to know that. So if she's... And again, you might have known this, but again, like, she walked over here, she walked out, walked here, walked out, and now she's hovering this side. It means one of two things. It either means that she has vision there, or it means that her jungler is there again, right?
Yeah.
I don't hate this trade because, like, they have no way to actually CC you, right? You have Phase Rush and Lee Sin has a slow at best. Just keep in mind, again, the pathing, like, of a player telegraphing where other players are on the map.
Yeah,
slow push.
For sure.
Yes, we're going to kill this minion so it stacks. We know Akali's there. So we know Lee Sin is on Dragon. Sorry. Lee Sin is on Dragon. We know Nami's missing from bot lane. We know Sivir can't move. We know Yi's topside. So this is their Dragon if they want to take it. They back off because they're bad at the game. And Seraphine doesn't give you priority properly because she's bad at the game. Seraphine absolutely can force this here. But what she should do is throw the E, and the moment it misses, just like use her Q to shove with you. Yi is there and happens to shove with you, so it's fine. But and there's a thing coming, by the way, that I'm intentionally skirting around that I'm going to mention in about 10 minutes. Because that's when I start to notice it a little bit more.
Okay.
So we're going to see this. Yi is going to come bot. Ezreal's going to jump over the wall. Yi is going to commit. We're going to get Ezreal heal flash. That's very good. Kali's going to walk back mid. We've got a pink here. I don't remember if this was your pink or not, but...
That's my pink in Pixel.
Yeah, so that's a good pink. I mean, you know that. That's a pretty standard good pink against roaming champions. The only thing to keep in mind is that if you feel that Lee has, like, jungle priority, it's very rare that Yi can help you...
Pause.
Yeah.
I thought I really TP'd. She TP'd from Dragon to top lane.
Okay, that explains
That's
a
what
lot.
happened.
And then of course Sion just fucking walks bot and ulties because the top laners teleport. Wait, okay.
Yeah, play
Okay,
it
well
a
now
lot.
I want to know why the fuck is she here, right? Like, she walked mid for no reason, and then pathed from mid to dragon. Blast cone over the wall. I just want to watch this because I think it's really funny. I was just not paying attention to Irelia, which is like...
Me neither. That's why I thought she TP'd down there, and then I was like, wait, where's she at?
Yeah, no,
Like,
she's literally just in the wrong place. She's like, I'm going to do nothing and then burn my teleport. Oh, no, that's why we get the dragon. Wait, we don't get the dragon though, do we?
No. Look, and then that's why I was like,
yeah, because she TP's super fucking early. She TP's right when they start contesting. Like, and she can't lose this wave against Sion. So, okay, so now we start the fight here. And this is where you look to move. You've just hit 6. You don't have flash, but you do have ignite. You're skilling your ulti. You have all cooldowns. You have full health. You have a Hextech revolver, Doran's, no potions, control ward. So that's the resource that you have. You know Akali has flash because she hasn't used it yet on site, and there's no reason for her to not. You know Ezreal's no sums. You know Nami's there, Ezreal's there, Lee Sin's there, Akali's there. Right now, there's a 4v4. Sound is missing top lane. You have literally not had a chance or reason to ward topside, right? So you have no idea where he is, and that's fine. And I mentioned this during the game, but I don't think walking into this fight is good.
Yeah, I literally only walked because I thought Irelia is there, and I thought it was a 5v5.
Yeah. Okay.
And I just backed with, and I have item advantage on Akali.
Cool.
Like, and then it was like, well, fuck.
Yeah. So as long as you would not have walked if you knew this, if you were more aware of the situation, if you were more aware of our,
if I knew
Irelia's.
Yeah, I would have just stayed mid. I would have been like, whatever.
Yep. So this is good. Did you move the pink to here? Yeah, you did. Okay.
Perhaps,
I don't dislike that at all. I was curious.
No, I usually do that when dragon fights come around because
Yep.
you just zone the vision off of it, and they can't do anything.
So this works as long as your team has any other way to sweep this pit. Yi does have sweeper, and I think if he hasn't used it, yeah, so it's up. He's going to use it in this pit, right? Like, assuming you're still on dragon. Sorry, assuming you're still on dragon, there's no reason to not do that. Here, and this is like a panic-inducing moment. Just be aware that you can eat the dragon, right? You fuck their entire like engage, and you're just basically sitting there saying, "Hey, I have a flank. You know, if Nami walks up, I'm going to fucking kill her." You're gonna make this fight a lot harder for them. It is very unfortunate you die here because of a lack of information. I understand why you died. I'm going to say that it's your fault, but it's like, it's not because of like poor decision making so much as it is a lack of
Like I did
awareness.
not. Yeah, I
Yeah.
just didn't know what was happening
Yep.
because I know my wave is fucked and like yeah, I mean it's
Yeah. So you're unable to buy anything. I'm almost certain you have at least the gold to buy a control word. Yeah, you have control word gold. Definitely wouldn't wait for anything, but you can buy a single pink as you walk out. Again, because your goal is to play safe and you're not playing for any sort of power spikes right now, that 75 gold doesn't matter much for your scaling, right? On ADCs, they're so starved for gold and it's so important to hit their mythic spikes that you are forced to buy no pinks if you're behind, right? You do not have the gold. Um, the same thing actually applies to scaling mids. Azir, Victor, Vladimir. I would not buy pink wards most of the time unless you're ahead. Because again, like as Azir, you felt it. Like you're behind in damage the entire game, right? So if you don't have Mythic at 9 minutes 50 seconds, every champion is gonna out damage you, right? You can afford to buy those pinks. But as Diana, you can. Shoving here is good. So this is again like you have a ward up and you could have a pink. You don't have one, but that's fine. But we don't know where Lee Sin is, and you have no vision. So we're gonna walk up and push this wave first. It sucks that you're gonna lose these minions, but again, this is like a fundamentals thing. You can't walk to this wave because a normal jungler kills you, right?
yeah.
Lee Sin isn't super low after Dragon, and you know that because he's Lee Sin. You assume that Lee Sin is high HP in jungle unless he does otherwise. This crab is fine because you know the Lee Sin spot, right? Like,
Wait, yeah. I'm waiting on the wave to shove into. Like there's
yep.
nothing else to do. It's free gold.
No, absolutely. I think crab is better than raptors because if Akali happens to have vision anywhere in here, you die, right? So,
Yeah.
no, absolutely. I think crab is the play here. This is good. You're walking right back to lane 2. Akali gives up and decides, okay, I need dopamine. I'm shoving the wave smile. Misses the cannon. You hold here, which is good. But then you're going to Q and break your hold, right? I don't think that breaking your hold is inherently a problem because both players are going to play aggressive, and you know that, like, okay, game. Fuck you. You know that that's going to, like, game state is going to change constantly. Keep in mind that you can always just pressure someone by pretending to hold a wave. Even though in solo queue, it's almost never worth it to hold a freeze for more than 5 minutes because, like, you need to be other places. People are going to fucking walk to the wrong lane. They're going to shitfest fights 3v3. Holding a wave will still sometimes, you'll like red cape the bull, right? And they'll lose their minds and just walk up, right? Obviously now, Akali is Nami here. You don't know that for sure. And of course you have Phase Rush, so you're relatively safe on those trades. So, you're gonna flash QE ulti. Nami's gonna flash immediately. You should be aware of flash timings for your bot lane, but if you're not, at most that's partially your fault. At least, your bot lane just didn't fucking ping it or communicate it, and so you don't know whether that flashes up at all or not. General rule is that if you're burning your cooldowns to force a flash, it needs to be worth it. You need to be burning your cooldowns, forcing the flash, and still getting a kill, because your flash is more valuable than Nami's, because that's a support, right? You don't give a shit. Yeah, the mobility rule doesn't apply to supports. You're Diana. No one cares. You need that flash, right? You have R flash, you have like weird engage angles, you have the ability to go push side lanes you wouldn't push otherwise. You have so much agency because your flash is up. Now your flash is down. I know why you walked here. You wanted to secure the Nami if Yi isn't able to get it. But keep in mind that your Yi's really fed. He's guaranteed going to die because he's a fucking moron and he's running into an Akali under turret with no way to get out. But he also has Master Yi with a Bork, and Nami has... Now that you've burned her flash, Nami has no option. So the moment that you miss that QER, the moment that Nami flashes the QER, you should just leave immediately. Because again, and this is something I stressed a lot in the mid game, once you're behind, being alive and getting EXP and occasional gold is way more valuable than flipping something. Like 99% of the time. Consistency will carry you.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yep. And obviously we're gonna die here. Very unfortunate. And I mean, like, there's actually one more thing, which is just like, you can't get baited by your teammates in general, right? If your teammate's making a play and you know it's a bad play, just fucking leave. It's like it's bad. You know it's bad. You're going to die if you walk to it. I think you know that Akali's probably going to kill you, or at least is going to just force you off this wave completely. You don't know where either of their bot laners are. I don't think we know where Lee Sin is even. I'm mostly just watching this play. But
Lee Sin showed in the bush. After I died. So it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I just wanted to look and see if we saw Lee Sin anywhere on the map in the last minute.
No.
Yeah, so your ward here, obviously, this is good. This is, like, closer to where I would want the ward. If you move it a little more south, I think you catch
Yeah, then I can see everything.
this movement. And while you don't exactly catch this, you do catch if he's hitting the raptors. Actually, I've got another rule to talk about related to jungle pathing, but we can go back and talk more about that as we, like, finish going through the story of the lane, right?
Yeah.
So we're going very linearly through, right? I'm not really stepping back aside from reanalyzing stuff, but of course, stepping back and referencing old stuff to new stuff is very relevant for analysis. So we're gonna have the play happen here. He's gonna grief. You're gonna overcommit. You're both gonna die. And now Akali is big. Lee Sin has jungle priority over Yi's entire blue side. Yi just lost his shutdown. Oh wait, no, he doesn't have a shutdown because he died somewhere else like an idiot. You're gonna fall even further behind because you're gonna miss another wave, right? Like, this is really bad, obviously. And then the game randomly comes back and you win because it's like you. But I don't know if you noticed, but I don't think you pinged a single time during the entire first 10 minutes of the game. And it may sound a little ridiculous, but pings are really, really important in solo queue for a lot of reasons. First reason, a lot of players right now are just fucking muting ult. Like, there are a number of people in League, like, I would say a solid percentage of players, I don't know what, it's probably double digits at least, that queue up and mute all 5 players immediately. Very, very few of those players also immediately mute pings, right? So it gives you the ability to communicate with, instead of, like, 85% of your team, 99% of your team, right? Yeah. Immediately, that's an extra communication barrier you don't have to deal with, right? The second thing is that it dissuades you from typing. Sometimes typing literally doesn't matter. Sometimes typing pisses people off for no reason, and sometimes typing takes your attention away from doing something on the screen, right? Very small one, but still relevant.
I would say I wouldn't, or at least I don't think I'm that worried about it, because when I'm ahead, I ping. It's just like when I'm behind, I don't, I guess.
Yeah.
This game, I felt like I was behind. I was like thinking about ways to get back in, and not about like what the fuck my Yi's doing, you know?
Yep. It's a smaller form of communication. And it straight up is less important than it is less important than like getting good CS, not dying, and like playing to win, right? But it's relevant, and the higher elo you get, the more your teammates will be able to do with the information you give them. Even if they're shit, even if they're stupid, even if you just fucking flashed and gave Akali 2 kills for no reason to solo kill a level 5 support, right? Mm-hmm. They can still do something with the pings. Or not. Or they're shit. It doesn't matter, because you tried, right? Yeah. And the 5% of kills that you save with a ping makes every single ping worth it. Because, again, like moving your camera, the only thing it costs you is mental focus. Mm-hmm. The difference is that you don't even have to move your camera, or you don't have to look away for your champion. You don't lose anything by just like hold alt, pull right, left.
And that's it.
Yeah, and cursor positioning is, I think once you're diamond, cursor positioning is something you can reset very easily as a player by just like thinking at all, or not thinking, right? Like, I feel like it's second nature. Yeah. And so I'm gonna go through real quick, really quick here, and I'm just gonna mention points where I think you can bang. First thing, you know that Lee started blue side, right? Obviously your ward here. This is a small one, but pinging the raptors and just like pointing out to Yi like these are up matters, right? Because that gives Yi jungle pathing information, and he might just not look at the minimap. Maybe he does. Doesn't really matter, right? Like that's a piece of information you can give Yi. Right here, Yi might have straight up not noticed that Lee Sin went to bot side, right? So you can ping a back ping here and ping Lee Sin, and then Yi knows, oh, Lee Sin is somewhere in bot side. Bot lane knows, oh, Lee Sin is somewhere in bot side. Maybe they put a ward here and they don't die to this dive, right? This one's a lot more relevant, right? You can communicate exactly where Lee Sin is. We're gonna watch this. Yada yada yada. You ping a Akali TP. Okay. I was gonna say like definitely ping teleport very specifically. You do. That's good. You should and you did. Awesome. Love to see it. This is the triple kill. Okay. Obviously, Akali is still in lane here, pretty much the entire time. Nope. Fuck you, game. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. Okay. So right here, next thing you can ping is you can ping ward here. Now, Akali didn't ward here, but you don't know that. She
Yeah.
walked
Usually when
into
they
this
walk
bush.
at the
Yeah,
warden.
she pushed
Yeah.
and then walked directly into the bush everyone wards as a mid laner, right? You can ping vision over here, and that it would be very weird for her to not ward this, like she is doing right now, right? Like, this is a strange decision from her to not ward. She knows Lee Sin's coming, but, like, Lee's level 3. We're going to switch this back to blue side. You already watched this, so we don't need to care or talk about it at all. Obviously, your team's pinging that like crazy. Yada yada, yada yada. Alright. So the moment this happens, I would backping the dragon like 4 times, right? Because you're communicating, like, I'm not there. This is just bad, right? Even if you think that your team can fight it, you need to tell your team you're not there, right? Because if they're expecting you to have, you know, they saw you shove the wave, they're expecting some form of priority, but you're level 5, you're on just an amp tome with no wards, no potions, right? Like, you really need to recall. Yeah. Like, you have so many reasons you need back and absolutely no reason to stay aside from your team forcing dragon. So you should force dragon. You know, I would probably back ping again, but you ping on your way, right? Which is the opposite. That's going to... People are going to be incentivized to fight when you ping on your way, right? This is implying, okay, I'm running straight to this dragon fight. Obviously, you're getting 6 here. This is like 5 seconds from running this way, less. It's, you know, very little difference. But pinging on my way is that is a let's fight ping, right? Now, you're pinging on my way to at least some degree because you have misinformation about where Irelia and Sion are. The moment you see Sion here, if you see him, right, if you notice him on the minimap, like, start running like hell, back ping, set up an escape, do anything you can to not get hit by the Sion ult. But yeah, one of those things is back ping.
Or like you said, I could have QE dragon and then
yeah.
on me and killed Nami at least.
Yep. But yeah, Lee Sin picks up a 700 gold shutdown here, along with getting dragon. If they back off, it's really good, right? Because at least that's 700 gold that Yi doesn't give. Plus, he just gets to go through and do like a 28 CS rotation, right? Like, Lee is just forcing a gank bot for no reason. This is really weird, and they just don't have vision. Definitely you have nothing to ping there. This is where Yi starts to tilt a little bit. Here, obviously, you can back ping. We talked about this. Let's see. We've talked about lane management. We've talked a little bit about micro movement, about what that means for jungle pathing. We've talked a bit about Lee Sin jungle pathing. Talked about pings. Mana management isn't a big deal this game for a couple reasons. The big one is that the matchup's really volatile, and you are forced to use abilities when you use abilities. Your back timings were reasonable. I understood why you made your back timings. The wave management typically made them worse, and then lack of awareness of like where Lee Sin has made them worse. But I understand why that happened, right? We don't have to harp on that. I don't think like your instincts of when to back were bad at all. Past, I want to say like 15 minutes, you pretty much like, I don't know exactly when it happens, but at some point pretty soon, like I'll watch your portrait for a moment here, but I believe you literally just walk to a side lane and then just stay there, right? For most of the game, you're in a side lane pushing and taking towers, right? You're farming mid. No. Oh no, you're keeping Akali here for a bit. Like this is really boring and absolutely fine. You can't really do anything.
Well, it's actually worth for me just keeping her there.
Yep. If your opponent's more fed than you and you're CSing evenly, then that is absolutely worth. That's always good. Because it means they're not pushing their gold lead. All this shit happens. Whatever. We don't care about analyzing this fight. This is a shit fest and a bunch of people are in the wrong place and there's no vision and this is just a weird ass game. Right? Okay. I say a weird ass game. This is solo queue.
Yeah.
There's no more justification than that. And now you start going to side lanes. So I think your decisions are past this point all at least make sense. The fights you want to walk to, I would stay to the side lanes and fight them. And we already talked about the reason that I think that. I want you to play more for your own gold total, especially when you're behind. Because again, when you're behind, it is unlikely that you make a significant difference in the fights, and it is more likely that you're going to lose like CS or EXP in some way, right? Like this fight, maybe you get an ER, maybe you get an E flash R, maybe Nami presses ult when she sees you and you can't play the game, right? Like, and then nothing happens because Nami's probably ulting here anyway.
Yeah.
Irelia's already got pressure, and you've got pressure. And I don't think you come to this fight, but I do think
Yeah.
we talked about it, and then I was like, no, 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 push top, push top. I don't remember if that 100% happened or if that happened with a different fight, but
No, I think it was this one, but I was already
yeah.
instinctively kind of like, I want to go. And then I was like,
Yeah, yeah, you definitely, like, even without my urging, I think you would have decided to continue pushing.
yeah, probably.
It may not have been, may or may not have been quick enough to push the turret. And I'm not saying that that's me, right? Like, it's a lot of that is just because anyone who's watching the game has like a clearer picture because you're
Yeah,
focused
you're
on
not
all.
playing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're focused on all the little shit you have to do to play League of Legends, and I'm just not. All I'm looking at is things I think are mistakes, right?
yeah,
I think your build decisions all make sense and are fine. I think taking these is absolutely fine because you pretty much know that everyone on the enemy team is coming back. You know that all three waves are shoved in. This obviously makes a huge difference because you have tempo. The only big thing is, and I mentioned this in the game, of course, but because you have sweeper, but you're not looking for picks or like aggression, you're just looking to like basically you're hitting towers and then recalling or hitting minions and then recalling. You know, a ward here or a ward here as you're walking out or looking for a recall will be far more efficient than sweeping a ward that is like, you know, in this bush or something while you're walking up to hit this tower, right?
yeah.
Allegedly, that's where you're going next because this dragon's gone down.
Uh, Pause it real quick.
Yeah, yeah,
So with that, if I had the ward and I place it, I'm backing already though. So like by the time I get up there, it's like what 30 seconds, maybe 40 seconds left on it.
yeah,
So like, is it still worth it at that point? Because
yep,
like I don't have it.
yeah. Because so dragon's just been taken. And this wave is shoving in, but only one person at most is going to catch this because in solo queue typically someone pings on my way 3 times, catches the wave, everyone else walks to the fight, right? You see Aurelia here. She might be pinging on my way. Maybe Yi is walking into bot side, but in general, the game is going to move this direction, right? Seraphine is walking up here to ward. You're here. Aurelia's mid. Sivir's walking directly mid, and Yi just took dragon and is walking into bot side to invade, right? Everyone is moving forward and left, right? Everyone is moving this way. All of the movement is somewhere over here, right?
Hmm.
Um, if you ward over there, maybe nothing happens. Maybe you catch a kill. Maybe you see some movement that stops your mid from over pushing, right? And again, this is like a thing that sounds like hedging your bets or like, you know,
No, no, I get it.
yeah.
I was just thinking about it as from like my perspective, like how does that help me? But that word would be more of a team word, I guess. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
and I know that's a little weird because I was just talking about your own play,
Yeah,
but because you're very unlikely to make good use of a sweeper, right? It's the range of checking a bush with a sweeper and checking a bush with a ward is very similar. The amount of opportunity cost that you're getting for warding for your team is incredibly low. It's costing you not nothing because the sweeper is useful, but it's typically going to get you more value, right? And you're getting very little gold out of warding right now, or out of sweeping right now, right? You're not walking into the jungle. You're not the one looking for aggressive plays. You already know that your mission is to split push and to stay away from the objective, right? So you're not clearing vision on objectives. You're not clearing vision on camps that you want to 1v1, and you're not looking for 1v1 picks because their two best split pushers are champions that you have no way of killing, right? Like Sion and Lee Sin, or Sion and Akali, sorry, you never kill either of those champions right now in a 1v1.
yeah,
And you know that, right? Because you know the matchup for Akali's bad and Sion's a fucking tank. So like, no.
yeah, pretty much.
General thing is if you're looking to play the safer game, you should take one of the other two trinkets. And if you're looking to play the more aggressive game, you should take the sweeper, unless like weird shit's going on.
Mhm.
And you know, when I say that, what I mean is if you're ahead on Diana, yeah, take a sweeper, fucking walk into the Raptors, put the sweeper down, and then just kill someone, right? You can do that.
Yeah,
But in this game, I would not have sweeper. And
fair
of course,
enough,
that's
makes sense.
one
That's
more.
why I asked about Farsight earlier, because you can Farsight like
Yep.
the thing while you're pushing, and then you don't have to walk out.
Yep. I think Farsight would be more of a selfish thing, and you could absolutely just take Farsight instead. I have no problem with either of those. I tend to favor hedging towards the ward trinket, the ward trinket, mainly because I think vision control is just less cared about in solo queue. Obviously, less cared about than it should be. But I think players just don't consider that a bush could be warded, right? People are like, well, you know, if I sit in this bush, I get a kill, and if I sit in this bush and it's warded, I throw the game. Why not, right? Like,
Yeah.
people do that shit all the time. So, for that reason, I think the ward trinket is typically the most valuable of the three in solo queue. This changes if you're playing against an Umbral Glaive champion, if you're playing against 3+ sweepers because you have like a Teemo or a Shaco, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that's my personal theory. Um, and again, I think this is a player preference thing. I'm just explaining my perspective.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, I remember this part of the game more clearly because A, it was simpler, and B, it was near the end of the game. I don't really think we need to review it because the decisions were slower and I was able to talk more about them. Is there anything in particular that you want to talk about from the end of the game? Or did you feel like there was something and it's like, let's look until we see the thing? I'm going to look away from the sweeper sound. That's annoying.
8 times it real quick, just like hit play.
Yeah,
I mean, remember some of the shit.
we'll just watch the mini map. We'll watch some kill feed, right? Grab DeGromp, hover with your team, walk top. See Aurelia go to the wrong lane, walk bot. So I will say, actually, this is one thing. In a vacuum, like taking your time to walk bot when you could reset is typically like not considered good. Like you do have 1100 gold. You could sell your Doran's Ring by Rod in a Pot. But you are covering Seraphine and Master Yi here. And right now you use your win condition, right? He's 15-3 and no one else on your team is doing shit. So I like this pathing because like, you know, Akali's here. She's not really in range, but like if if Sion just like comes out the side ulting, you know, bot side typically because you have less vision there, you have a lot of wards top side. And you're there, you can just tank it, you can fucking go on the next person to show up, right? Like you have a lot of options that just aren't there if you don't go this way. So that is a that is a hedge that I generally think is probably worth it. And Sion is sitting bot side looking for a pick. He's just not good enough to ulti from River. I don't know how else to put it. He's not good enough to ulti from River, right?
This was just like misplay.
I can actually watch this real quick to see what happens. I don't.
Yeah, I mean,
I want to see the I want to see the first mistake or like the mistake that kills you. I want to see at what point I feel like you were dead and see if you feel the same way. And of course this is like especially for this because
I'll tell you right now, it's when I part about the minions.
No, I remember this kill now. Or this stuff now. Yeah, so we see Akali here, but you greed for the last hits and it kills you. Yep. Okay, cool. No, that's I mean, you know, she's more fed than you. She's a level up, she counters you. Like, yeah. This is just death. There's not really anything you can do to play. Oh. That's right. There is actually something I want to mention here. Which is Akali play patterns. This is a very specific thing that almost every Akali will do in low elo, which is if they hit the E and you're high HP, they're going to do a very consistent combo every single time, which is they're going to E, auto, Q, ulti, Q, auto. That is incredibly consistent. And watch, E, auto, Q, ulti, auto, Q. But, you know, either way, right? Whatever direction or whatever pattern you'd like to go for, that's what they're going to do every single time. So if you see her reactivate her E, when she is clearly going for a kill, if you flash right now, and we'll slow it down to 0.25 seconds, you have about a quarter of a second where you dodge that ulti. And once she's under tower, you might actually be able to do something, and even if you don't, you've just done a lot of mental damage, and you might be able to get out. Now, maybe you do nothing, but since you're deciding to flash here anyway, remember that at high HP, Akali is going to E, auto, Q, ulti, and the moment that E hits, you need to flash. And when I say the moment that E hits, I mean the moment the second E hits you, because until then she's just going to follow your flash automatically. Because Akali is a very cool champion.
Yep.
Yeah, that was something I wanted to mention in the game.
Either that or I could have flashed her E when she threw it out, and then she would never been able to get on me, and I could have just walked it out with Phase Rush.
Yep, that was definitely the safer play, but you know, if that doesn't happen, that's your second out. That's also more relevant with like Zhonya's baiting and Akali in a fight, right? If you have 2v2, 3v3, that kind of thing, you can force Akali to blow her entire combo without killing you because you just press Zhonya's at the right time. If you're playing Vlad, you can pull. You know, if you're playing Fizz, you can press E. Those champs suck, but you know. Anyway, we'll go back to 8. And past this, I believe you do not die for the rest of the game, which is awesome. We randomly get Baron. Well, not randomly. You pull a Akali bot, and then your team is fed enough to win a fight. Early's gonna go bot. You're gonna walk mid with your team here because... Oh, no, sorry. That's right. I remember this. Aren't you, You're top here for a while. Why are you top here?
We were gonna get the tower, and then I got forced out.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah. You walked up here because you knew that you knew their team wouldn't be able to follow you properly.
Yeah.
Yep. No, this was good pathing and good awareness. I think the decision to hit either wave here is fine. Personally, I would hit the second wave coming in right here.
And then I could have done Krugs.
Yeah, probably I would run straight to that the moment you see Sion staying mid. You know, even either it does nothing, but walk into this wave also does nothing, or someone walks top and that's like less pressure on Dragon.
Yeah, and I see it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you have enough like space here. You do have your ult. You have Phaser Rush, right? Like, they would again have to blow everything, and if right now Akali flashes for you, that is a one trade despite you dying, right?
Yeah. She's out for 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. And she's the person that's going to kill Yi, right? She's 10 and 3. Yi's 18 and 3. Yi has no MR. I don't know why the fuck Yi has no MR. Akali's on full flat pen, but this game is unlosable if he just purchases a Negatron Cloak or an Old Magic Mantle at any point during the game. I think he does, but it's like super late game. We grab Deathcap second. Do we have gold for a pink? What the fuck did I press to make the scoreboard go away? Please bring this back. There we go. God, I dislike spam. Oh yeah, no, I told you by stopwatch. Yeah, so this is a very specific thing, which is when you're playing a style like this that is not quite self-sacrificing, but you're playing for tempo. If you can get more than one cooldown with stopwatch, or if you can force a fight with stopwatch, it automatically has unmeasurable value, right? You don't even have to build it in Zonies. You can pop the stopwatch, sell it, and buy a different third item. It does not matter. Stopwatch is, I think it is inarguably the best buy past 25 minutes if your champion makes good use of it, right? Like, a TF should buy stopwatch after Everfrost RFC if he's behind. Lee Sin should buy stopwatch, right? Same shit. All that same shit. You give your team an entire 2 seconds to follow up on your engage. And in solo queue, that's typically enough in Diamond, right? Like, people have reaction time. They see a fucking Diana ult hit 4 people, they're like, yeah, I'm gonna go in on this. Irelia fucking dies because she's bad. We'll speed it up. Past this, what is this? Someone dies here. Who dies here? Oh no, no one else dies here. That was just Irelia dying, and then y'all have the really good, the single really good fight. Yeah, so you pressure bot, this is really good. Like, obviously you force Sion to bounce between the two, which means he can't actually stop anything that your team wants to do. They overcommit. Yi solos everybody because he's fucking 22 and 3 on Yi, and then the game's over.
Yep. Alright, cool. Yep, that's pretty much it there.
Alright. That felt pretty comprehensive.